Who is he? I know him, but you two, no idea.
Never mind then.
This!
Raining sorry.
Get that. It would appear there's a temple paradox. It's Chini, me, and another Chini.
Oh wait, you're in a different dimension.
Crap!
If I look away, you can't move.
Don't blink.
Don't blink. Whatever you do, do not blink. Blink and you're dead.
They are fast, faster than you can believe.
Move.
Don't worry, it's not as fast as it sounds.
If we run or install, can we have signs to say things like
It's not rolling, mate. Sorry, screwdriver. What do we need? I'm putting it down to that. I go for a company dance.
It's scoon, is it?
It's a scoon.
Screwdriver.
Let's connect. You doctors behave yourselves.
He's got a sonic screwdriver. I have no idea what it is.
It's not my fault you won't use it. The doctors, splendid fellows.
I am not singing. I am not singing. I don't sing. Ocarina, play it.
Doctors, you never get better with age.
Oh, we all going to sway, are we? We all going to sway.
Get the boys of K9 on next. Join Leeson! Okay, so far he's the only kilted assistant I've ever seen in Doctor Who. It's Frazer Hines! Yes, they do work, Frazer. None of your shenanigans. Okay. Next up, we'll get the lovely Sophie Aldred. And last but not least, he has been the Doctor. In some of your minds, he may well still be the Doctor. It's Sylvester McCoy.
Hello up the back.
Do you get nosebleeds? What's happening?
Paddy, what do we do? I'm just going to run round the back with this mic to my other assistant. I've got assistants now, it's brilliant. I'm not going to run away, I'm not that bad.
We don't do anything, just go off again. Go round.
I don't think microphone working.
If you wish, I'll translate what he says.
This is most satisfactory.
He's easily pleased.
What's happening?
Q&A!
Oh, we asked them questions.
What have you got now, yes?
All right. Sylvester, what have you been up to?
I've been up to 5'6", and I'm shrinking.
Inside leg 29 inches.
Luke's a question right here on the front row. I can do this.
Who's running this?
Are you allowed to regenerate 13 times, but you're going to do it so he's going to get extra lives? We don't know, we just read the lines.
You're the excellent.
Oh, there's a guy there. Hand up.
You can't hear us!
You can't now.
Can you hear us at the back? Yeah.
No, it's still not coming in.
One person can hear us at the back. It's the Misterons, wrong show. Who else has got a question?
This one's for Ace. Do you ever see yourself coming back for another Doctor Who?
Did you hear that? It's a question for Ace. And does Ace ever see herself coming back in the modern Who? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Be great. So far, no sign of it, but I'd like to find out what happened to Ace after she went off through the bush with the Doctor in Survival.
Oh, well, I can't remember what we did when we went through the bush. Actually, I can remember, but I'm not telling.
So yeah, I'd love to. Write to Stephen Moffat, I think that's the
So when the show got cancelled, do you think there's ever been any stigma associated with your characters because of that?
Yes, I think I always blame myself. I was the man that killed off Doctor Who. But in fact, we didn't. We kept it alive, Sophie and I, because the first thing we did was we got some fans together and we went to their local toilet in their house and we recorded a big finish, an early big finish. So we kept Doctor Who alive. Against all the odds. People said, it'll never come back, it'll never come back. And we said, it will, it has to. Because it was so mad to take it off in the first place. Anyway, we were right, weren't we, Sophie?
Yes.
So, no stigma.
Still alive, because I'm doing a big finish on Monday.
Do on your hands and knees.
Not necessarily, no. I've grown up a bit since then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, do it quickly, don't ask us. Get there doing it. Snap, snap, quick, quick, quick.
I've got a question for Sylvester. If you could have played anyone else in Doctor Who would you have played?
Ace. But actually, I did play Ace with my spoons. I used to play the Overy, you see, so I played this. Technically, she became a musical instrument, and I was playing her.
And we did swap costumes once for a photo.
Oh, we did, yeah. I had to give it back. I didn't really want to.
The
question for K9. K9?
Yes.
Have you got any stories about Sarah Jane? About Sarah Jane?
Well, no. Apart from the fact that Sarah Jane was absolutely lovely. In fact, she was my next-door neighbour, virtually, in West London. We lived only about a quarter of a mile from each other. We would be constantly meeting in the village street between us. It was lovely. No, it was fantastic to have worked with Liz. In fact, of course, did you see her husband? Yes? Yeah, on last weekend on Saturday, playing the tramp, Ryan Miller. There you go. No, it was lovely. And what I enjoyed enormously was the great rivalry between K9 and Mr. Smith. I usually won. Great. Thanks for the question.
Can I just add a chuck in another K9 and Liz anecdote here, because when I went down with the dog, because he's over in our, don't see him later, he's up where we are, around with some other, for school reunion. And I went down just one day to Cardiff, and Liz greeted me like a long-lost brother and saying, thank heaven, somebody I know. Everybody else in the team is completely different.
Question for the whole panel, if I can. If you had to pick one story, TV or Big Finish, as your favourite and to recommend to people to get into Doctor Who, what would you choose for everyone? Thank you.
I would straight away, I would say the Glorious Revolution that I do with Patrick, because normally Jamie arrives in a spaceship, a space station with Patrick, and he knows what he's talking about. In the Glorious Revolution, they arrive in London at the time of James II. So it's Jamie's time, and he knows what he's talking about. So this time, he can actually tell the Doctor what to do and what not to do. And there's one big scene where we're arguing about history. And so I have to argue with myself in the movie. And that's how I do it. In one page, I just do the Doctor, Jamie, Jamie, Doctor. So the Glorious Revolution, for me.
Is that Big Finish?
That's Big Finish, yeah. It's my second story, yeah.
You play both parts?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can never remember what the titles of the stories are. It's terrible. I remember a certain actor I worked with. He used to wear a big scarf. I can't think of his name. But I know that he always filleted his scripts. His scripts were very, very thin, because those were the only pages that had his lines on. Didn't care about anybody else's. Just did his own lines from his own script. Very thin. Everybody else came with scripts about that thick. And I sort of waded through a little bit. What was quite nice for me, of course, was that I didn't have to learn anything. Because I could just read it straight off and nobody saw me. It was great fun. You didn't learn it anyway. You were in a booth or were you inside the door? No, I would hold it. Inside the door. Sat in an armchair and read it. Oh, I sat in an armchair. They made a special room for me. It was lovely. You had a penthouse suite to do this? Yes. Big sofa, glass of claret next door to me. It was wonderful. Great fun. Good stuff, voiceovers. This is good.
Well, people tell me Death in the Family for Big Finish is a very good one, and Afterlife as well. And then from the TV series, well, they were all great to do, weren't they? But I think the best story as far as Ace is concerned is probably The Curse of Fenric, where she gets betrayed by the Doctor.
Oh, classic.
And that's when he turned out to be a bit nasty for the first time, really. And that was something you wanted to do, wasn't it? To be a bit more...
darker and more mysterious and dangerous. Yeah, I agree with everything Sophie said. She's always wiser, I discovered very early on. So that guy Wayne was going to ask a question.
This is for Sylvester. I wish you got to use a sonic screwdriver.
Can't hear you, can you speak?
I said, this is for Sylvester. Do you wish you'd gone to use a sonic screwdriver? Or do you think the new Doctor seems to be reliant on it?
No, I'm glad I didn't have a sonic screwdriver, actually. Although I did technically in the Paul McGann, I mean the Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann film. I did technically have one there, and I didn't know how to use it. And if you look at that, you'll see it's pixelated a bit. That's because I've got it back to front. I was pointing in the wrong direction. But I was happy that I didn't have it because Jonathan Turner was right. He said it was too easy for the writers to get the Doctor out of trouble. All he does is just take, you know, his sonic screwdriver out and suddenly... So the writers had to use their imagination on how to get us out. I think that was better. I mean, I know everyone loves sonic screwdrivers because everyone's got one. One for signing them, you know, and they're great. But I don't think they should be used quite as much. There should be some kind of...
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
So the writers have to
use their... inventiveness, thinking outside the box is ideal.
John, K9, do you think K9 will come back in the modern Doctor Who?
This is an improbability. I must wait and see. I am always the last to know.
That's true.
No, actually, I know. I'll break the door first before John. I phoned him up and said, John, do you know you're back in it? No. This is a...
Hello again.
It's a flutterby.
This is a question first. Sorry about that. This is a question for Sylvester. Which side of your Doctor do you prefer the most?
This side.
Oh God, I hope not. The funny or comical side, or the dark and serious one?
Well, I like both sides mixed up together. That's the tension between the two, and it's much more fun as an actor trying to juggle all those, you know, kind of facets at the same time. No, they all mix. You know, going from one to the other quickly. It's great fun.
Sylvester, I was in the United States last year doing a convention, and there was a panel of 9 or 10 of us, and one of the questions was, if you didn't work with your Doctor, which Doctor would you like to work with? All of us said, you. Everybody said Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, thank you. So how much have I got to pay each one of you again? $100. Oh, $100, okay.
But I said, if I work with you, I said, we'd never get any work done, we'd just be giggling through.
We'd just laugh.
Just laughing.
Yeah. Thank you.
All again. Hi, Sophie. This question's for all of you. Have you watched any of the modern Doctor Who, so post-2005? How much have you watched? And if you have, which episode do you think is your favourite out of all?
Well, I mean, I've watched, you know, bits of each Doctor. Christopher Eccleston, I watched quite a lot of at the beginning. I remember the one I liked really was the one with Zoe Wanamaker. But she'd had the facelift, the odd facelift. I thought that was the funniest thing, and a great satire on our day and age. I love that character. I like those stories around that. They were really good. I must say I enjoyed this new one. He's got a funny accent. I thought he was rather good. I mean, David, terrific as well. But then, when I heard they were going to cast a 12-year-old, I was a bit upset. But that 12-year-old came along, it was just stunning. I mean, you know, he was just amazing. I met him recently. We did the Five-ish Doctors reboot, and I met him when we were filming that. Thank you. And he's just like a big Afghan hound. You know, a big puppy, he comes up running up to you with his tail wagging, and he puts his arms on your shoulder, and he licks your face. And he's Matt Smith, he's just the most delightful young man. He's just great fun. I like him very much.
In answer to a question, yes, yes, blink.
I saw a lot of Matt Smith's, because I love the Matt Smith character with bow tie and doing a lot of sort of, he'd said Patrick Troughton's his favourite Doctor and he'd watched a lot of Patrick stuff, so I love the hand movements. I missed a lot of David Tennant's because I was doing a stage play and then switched to pantomime. And on Saturday evening you're doing a show and I don't like having a TV set in my dressing room, you know. I like to go and concentrate, otherwise somebody's coming up, oh the murderer, who are the murderers? Oh, I'm on stage now. And you never find out who the murderer was. So, but of course, Capaldi, I was hoping for an older Doctor and I liked what I saw with Capaldi.
It was interesting, I watched, obviously, School Reunion with David, because it was quite amazing. People came up to me and said, what was it like working with him? I said, well, I don't know, because I was in a little tiny studio in London just doing the lines.
With your claret?
With my claret, yes, on my big sofa. And they just stitched the lines into the dialogue. And here he is, welcoming K-Line like an old friend. Here's K-Line wagging his tail like crazy. And I hadn't a clue. And I only met him later on at a convention, much like this. You know, and he seemed quite nice. But what impresses me so much about modern Doctors, and particularly David and Matt Smith, energy it must take, and equally the newest Doctor that's cast, remember, is having to carry the whole weight of all the Doctors that have ever been. So Doctor number 13 has got 12 Doctors on his back. Peter Capaldi has got 11 Doctors on his back. And we'll see where he goes. Very interesting.
But the first time he did it, he cried. He said, oh, this is, I've been an actor for all these years. This is not acting. Oh. And then when I arrived, he said, oh, thank God you're here. She was quite pleased, because every time I worked with him in King Lear, I kept thinking, thank God, I wish he would get off the stage. Take his spoons and leave, I want to die. Gloriously. Anyway, no, he was pleased to see me when I arrived, because we were acting together. As you said, John, it's that kind of thing that being with somebody.
Because I'd heard that story, I didn't know if it was true or not.
No, you were saying, yeah, it's true.
I was just thinking,
yes.
It's like the voiceovers that, because I do animation, and some of them, you just go in a booth and you have somebody's lines in your ear and you just have to copy what they say but in a different accent.
Do you have any claret?
No, I don't have claret actually. No, sadly, herbal tea, me. But then there's things like Dennis the Menace, which I did, and Tree Food Tom, and that's brilliant because there's 4 or 5 actors all together in the booth, and you bounce off each other, and Tree Food Tom I did with David Tennant was my assistant, if you like, and that was brilliant because we were standing next to each other, and I was going to say something happens, but that's wishful thinking.
But it's certainly like the big finishes. It's what is amazing for me is now to find myself working with Tom and Louise, perhaps, or Nala, and you know, it's time travel. I'm taken right back to the time that we originally worked together. The same vibes, the same feel, and everything sort of works. Fabulous.
It was certainly different when you were in the studios back in Tom Baker days, because John would be in his little tent with his glass of claret and microphone and things. But the banter that used to go on between Tom and John, most of it's unprintable, actually, but never got on to tape. But yes, it was live. It doesn't happen anymore.
We were fortunate to have sets, you know, talking about green screen, you know, I feel sorry for younger actors now. We had proper sets, but now they just stand on top of a green screen, which could be the Houses of Parliament or the River Thames, whatever. We shot in the Thames, we actually shot on the River Thames. You get the atmosphere.
And you were in Parliament, were you? The Houses of Parliament, you were in the House of Parliament. Yes, of course, yes. Just checking.
Hi, this is a question for the greatest Doctor and companion team ever, aka Sylvester and
Patrick can't be here today, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know that is. just going back to Ace not getting a proper set, would you ever want to do more adaptations of the New Adventures with the wonderful Lisa Bowman as Bernice Summerfield, in particular set piece, so that Ace does have at least an audio ending?
I mean, I think Ace has had quite a few endings now in Big Finish. You know, the wonderful thing about not being bumped off or married off or blown up or gone to Gallifrey to be a Time Lord or any of those other things is that the possibilities are endless. So in fact, it's worked out brilliantly for me because I get to sort of, however the writer is feeling, they speculate how Ace would have finished up. And I get to go and do that. So actually, I'm really happy, but that's a great idea about that could be another alternative. Because of course with the Big Finish, I have to kind of always read the script and go, right, is this Ace who's gone off with Hex and who's older, wiser, telling him what to do? Or is this Ace who's blowing up stuff in Battlefield and, you know, back to the series? Or is this, there's several different strands now to Ace's character, and I love that. It's great to be able to play all of them.
Am I supposed to answer that question?
Yeah.
What was it?
Can't remember.
No, it was about Ace, was it? It was about you.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, you weren't meant to answer it.
No, no.
That's okay.
I don't want Ace to go. I'd be blown up.
Out of all of you, who is your favourite villain or monster?
How can one have a favourite villain? Is it not a contradiction in terms? The Master was my... he frightened the life out of me. And that was before he even put on the costume. He was a scary man. The Master, I think, is pretty, you know, dangerous because he's very much like the Doctor, you know, that makes him much more dangerous than obvious monsters like Daleks and Cybermen. You know they're bad. This guy's just evil.
Well, when I was growing up, my mum stopped me watching Doctor Who because I got nightmares about Cybermen. It must have been around Tomb of the Cybermen time. So yeah, I'd always been a bit scared of them. And then I remember going to one of my first conventions and seeing somebody dressed up as a Cyberman, and still that kind of slight fear was there. It was very bizarre. So for me, to work on a Cyberman story was amazing because, well, I completely got over my fear, partly because Gary Downey, who was the production manager, had gone through all the casting books because Cybermen have to be very tall and kind of quite muscly to fit nicely into those costumes and to be a bit imposing. So he thought, right, where can we get the best extras for going in the Cybermen costumes? And so he picked a model agency, and so all the Cybermen were these sort of over 6'2" male models. So when they took their helmets off, I just used to sit around
swooning.
Yeah. So I completely got over my fear of Cybermen.
It's always been Cybermen for me because they're always much taller than us, which everybody's taller than us, Patrick and myself. But because the dead eyes and the mouth, you couldn't see it was a human mouth moving with latex on it, just that little slit of a mouth. We weren't scared of the Daleks because in my day, the Daleks couldn't go upstairs, so they couldn't fly. So we used to run up the stairs and go, they can't touch us. So it's always a Cyberman for me.
Well, speaking as K9, I had a really favourite little monster, which was a parrot. You have to go back to the classic story called The Pirate Planet. There's a lovely actor called Bruce Purchase who played a sort of pirate sea captain, and he had what was called a polyphase avatron. And K9 and the polyphase avatron kept having battles. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. But no, I quite agree with what's been said about the Cybermen. They really are rather nasty. Very much bigger than me, Besides, most of the time when I was rehearsing in the studios playing K9, I could only see actors at knee level, because I was running around being K9 on the studio up in the rehearsal room floor.
That's true.
Yep, absolutely true. One day there was a planet that was a bit too big or too swampy for K9 to go in, so they gave me a real standing up part instead, which was rather nice, except I was sitting down.
If he was a pirate and he had a polyphase amateur, that'd be a parrot.
Yes, it was a parrot.
Yes.
Polly parrot, yes. Polly parrot peck.
No more on for me, do you know, to build things, so we're not phased much. As said, you mentioned Cybermen, I always found the most frightening ones, the very original ones, the stocking masks, not the solid. They were more frightening, actually. Something about your health when they just held them.
I think because they are human.
Yeah, we've got one last question, and it's this young guy down here. He's been holding his hand up for like 15 minutes.
This is for Sylvester. What is the craziest thing you've seen?
The craziest thing? Oh my goodness gracious me. The what? In the 60s? I signed things in the 60s. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, the craziest thing, I suppose, a very crazy person, really. I signed people who were a bit balmy. Sign this, please. That was crazy.
Am I allowed to answer the question?
Yes, me too.
Thank you. Well, once years ago I was doing a convention and they were having a charity auction, and somebody came running into the green room and said, "We've run out of items to auction, so can we have something?" And I was eating a cheese roll, and I sort of jokingly said, "Oh, well, you can have this." So he snatched the cheese roll from me, and they auctioned it, and the guy came up to me afterwards, and I signed the cheese roll. But then the following morning, he came up to me a bit sheepishly, and I said, "Ah, you're the guy who I signed the cheese roll for?" And he said, "Yeah, but I had a few too many beers last night, and I got really hungry, so I ate it. Can I have another one?" So I signed him a bit of paper that time.
Striptease ones for charity, isn't it? The doctor. Yeah, but the silliest thing I've ever signed was a woman's leg. She said, "Will you come and she raises her and you sign, you know." So I signed my full name, Frazer Simpson Frederick Horatio.
All we've got time for, sadly. You guys have been amazing. Please thank our panel.